Alright, time to address another question from the RDP mailbag. This time we're addressing the question, when we're strength training, should we be more conservative with our use of our energy and hold back in the first several sets of an exercise? Or does it make sense to just go all out and get as many reps as we can in each set? So welcome, my friend, to another episode here, the Red Delta Project YouTube channel, where we're helping you to be fit and live free by taking a fundamental approach to diet and exercise. And today we're using that fundamental approach to help us navigate this question on which method may be best. So let's use an example. Let's say we're doing pull-ups. And in the first approach, we're just going all out for every set. We'll do, say, 4 sets. So you get your first set on your pull-ups, you get as much as you can, pretty darn close to failure, and you get 11 repetitions. Now, because you're getting a high dose of fatigue in that first set, each subsequent set will have less repetitions because you're just tiring yourself out. So you get 11 repetitions, and then let's say 8, and then 6, and then finally 5, this descending order. Now, the second strategy would be a bit more of a conservative approach where we're not going all out. Instead, we're just going to a specific number of repetitions. So we jump up on the pull-up bar and we get like 8 repetitions, and then 8 and 8 and 8 for each set. So the natural question is, which would be better if you're trying to build muscle and strength? Remember, a fundamental approach teaches us that your results don't come from your particular workout program or strategy. They come from what kind of fundamental stimulus you're creating in your workout. And when we look at these two strategies, it can quickly become fairly apparent that they're both basically creating the same fundamental stimulus for muscle and strength. So ultimately, as far as results go, it probably won't matter either way. If we're doing the same exercise, in this case, we're doing classic military style pull-ups. So it doesn't matter if you're doing 11 repetitions or 5 or 8, you're working with the same relative amount of resistance. Therefore, you're generating roughly the same amount of muscle tension, which ultimately is how much strength you require of your muscle. So either way, you're going to generate the same amount of strength. When it comes to stimulating hypertrophy, we're looking at things from a fatigue standpoint. Now, initially, it may seem like the all-out approach may be the better way to go because you're creating a lot of fatigue in every single set. However, that type of fatigue is being generated pretty much on one set, and then it's just kind of redundant on each one. You may get a little bit more fatigue in the muscle in the subsequent sets, but overall, you're tiring out the muscle. In the more conservative approach, you're having less fatigue in the initial set. However, that fatigue is building from one set to the next. So at the end of the pull-up workout, you're still reaching roughly the same amount of fatigue. And if you're generating roughly the same amount of fatigue in the muscle, you're creating the same fundamental stimulus. So on paper, it may not really matter one way or the other. However, it probably does matter for most of you, not because of what it does to your body, because fundamentally you're still doing the same thing, but because of personal preference. Because there's lots of different paths and ways you can reach the top of the mountain, but usually the things that's going to work best for you when it comes to diet and exercise isn't so much what stimulus you're creating, it's how you're creating it to achieve better personal alignment with your preferences, your resources, and your abilities. So if you took both of these methods and you found that one method, like the high fatigue initial approach, was like, I don't know why, but I can just create far more fatigue in the muscle, that's probably going to be better for you. But if that just doesn't jive with you and you feel like you're not motivated to go all out each repetition or set, then having a more conservative approach may just feel like you can somehow do it better. You can have better technique, better range of motion, you just feel the muscle working better. All these little subjective things are things you want to pay attention to, because even though many different diet and exercise strategies may create the same fundamental stimulus on paper, if you experience a better ability to create that stimulus from a particular method, then just go with your experience and do what works best for you. So at the end of the day, as long as you're creating the same amount of fatigue, you're going to build muscle either way, and you're creating the same amount of tension, you're going to build the same amount of strength. If you want to learn more about my fundamental approach, check out this video here. If you like these videos and stuff, I hit all the buttons and stuff down below. You know what to do. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Till then, be fit and live free.